Good morning. Hi, Phoebe. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to pin a comment on here. We're trying to figure out how to do that. Join our 30-day challenge. See. Last post. Tell me where you all are joining from. I want to say good morning, but perhaps you're not in a place where it's morning. There we go. So what is that? Is that good evening, Western Australia? From France. Bonjour. Cool. So you have a nice little bunch here. So just to remind you all, in case you don't know, this month YogaKoh is offering a chance to win a $1,000 scholarship to one of our teacher trainings. What are the rules? I think it's should you practice 20 out of the 30 classes we're offering this month, then you're eligible to win. That's a pretty rad prize. So the details themselves, I think you want to either DM us or check. I don't know if it was the last post, maybe 2 or 3 posts ago. Yes, as we can see, Phoebe's helping a brother out. Cool. So, if we're all here, we can get started. In fact, the way we will start is at the top of our mat in Vajrasana. So Vajrasana, it is a variation of hero pose, only the heels are together and the knees are together. I'm gonna go ahead and take the dominant hand into the lap. Place your other hand on top, and then just bring your thumb tips to lightly touch. You're very slowly breathing out completely. Then take a deep breath in. From the mouth, exhale. Inhale deeply. Again from the mouth. Inhale deep. This time hold your breath in at the top. So there is a breath retention here. Continue to hold, draw in lightly through the navel, and see if you can sip in a touch more air. Big open mouths, exhale. Now bring the lips to lightly touch and focus on breathing from just the nose. Specifically with a slight restriction of the throat, constriction, activating deep Ujjayi breath. At the end of your next exhalation, hold the bottom of the breath out. Retention of the exhale. Then as we breathe in, we'll join our hands together in prayer. And just exhale completely. And bow your head down. Okay, let's lift the head, open the eyes, and with your hands down on your yoga mat, step in towards a downward dog. Take a quick glance towards your hands. They're shoulders distance apart. Spread wide through your fingers. And if you were a little bit tighter in the shoulders, I might ask you to rotate the arms or your hands so that the index fingers are parallel to each other. Now, whatever your hand or whatever direction your hands are facing, do make sure that the base of each finger is rooting down, base knuckle. And as your hands resist the floor, use that to help send the tops of the thigh bones back. Okay, we're going to stay here for about 3 more full and deep breaths. Could you further still imagine that you're energetically lifting the bottom side of the forearm away from the floor to create this hollowing of the armpits? Last breath. Okay, now let's look towards the hands, and with the right foot step next to the right thumb. Come up onto the tips of the fingers and look forward. Keep your back knees straight. And then let's start bending and lightly straightening that front leg. So a little bend, a little straight. Only straightening the front leg as much as you're able to keep your hands down on the mat. And the whole while that we bend and straighten the front leg, the left thigh is charged. There's an active lifting of the left thigh bone up and away from the earth. Now on the next exhalation, bend deep into the front leg, pause as the left knee meets the floor, and let's inhale, lift both of our arms up. Can you here actively root the tailbone down to the floor whilst lifting the chest and drawing up through the arms? Okay, we're bringing both of our hands to the floor, and then here, left foot meeting the right. Inhale, look forward, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, deeply bow. Okay, let's do that again. Inhale, pull forward through the chest, reaching away from the pelvis. And then exhale, chest towards the knees, and move your nose towards the calves. Now here, everyone bend the knees slightly and start coming up slowly, one vertebra at a time. So stack one bone up and over the other. And at the top of the space, roll your shoulders back, chest open. And then inhale, reach your arms all the way up over your head. As we stand tall, draw your right thigh up towards the chest. We're going to bring our hands onto the underside, not underside, but just below the knee, and then pull your right thigh up towards the belly. And just 2 more breaths here. Keep rooting the left sole of your foot down and towards the floor. And feel the front of your left thigh pushing back. Now go ahead and lift both of your arms. Start lowering your right foot to the floor, bending both of the knees so we're in a chair pose, Utkatasana. And then lower your hands down into the yoga mat as you forward fold. Okay, look up. And let's go to plank, first plank. Shoulders are above the wrists. Now listen carefully, keep your elbows straight, the legs straight, and see if you can squeeze the shoulder blades together. The feeling would be the chest melting towards the thumbs, but make sure the pelvis is still stable and level. And then press the ground away from you so the shoulder blades are wide. And then we'll do that twice more. Inhale, lowering the shoulder, not lowering, but rather squeezing the shoulder blades, arms remain straight. And then press the ground away from you, shoulder blades wide. Okay, one more time, squeeze the shoulder blades, stay connected to the belly. Press the hands away from you, shoulder blades wide. Now hold here and pull your wrists and toes together. Feel the belly fire up. And then begin bending your elbows, lowering through chaturanga, but landing on your mat. With your toes pointing back, let's float the hands and inhale, Bhujangasana, unsupported cobra, lift the chest. And then stay here as you continue to feel that each toenail is pressing into the floor so the front of your heart can lift higher. Stay. Then lower your hands, downward dog, exhale. Look towards your thumbs, and then we'll go left foot next to left thumb. Come to fingertips. Okay, tuck your chin, look at the back knee, make sure that it's straight, and then look forward as you start straightening the front knee. So feel like your left foot is pushing the mat forward so the leg can straighten, and then rebend. And then just those two simple actions of bending and straightening. But the whole time, your back thigh is lifting up and away from the floor, where some of you might feel a minor opening through the front of the right hip flexors. You might even feel it through the right quads, especially when the front leg bends. Now let's all bend that front knee and then hold it. Right knee meeting the earth. And then inhale, reaching up through the arms. Bring containment into the belly, but lift the ribcage up away from the pelvis. Okay, we'll bring the hands down to the floor, and then right foot stepping towards the left, directly into Ardha Uttanasana. Grab the backs of your ankles here, and then exhale, bend your arms, forward fold. Now feel the heels pushing into the earth and the buttock bones lifting higher into the sky. Almost like you're trying to straighten the legs, but then the chest stays connected to the front part of the thighs. Then with your hands on the floor, look forward. One more time to bow. And then rise all the way to standing. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach the arms up. And at the top, we'll bring our left thigh up towards the chest, hands on the shin bone, lift your thigh, and squeeze it in towards the belly. Bend your elbows. And it's very subtle, but here it's also a feeling of splitting the legs or the thighs apart. We're lifting left thigh. The right thigh is being pressed away from the front of your mat. Okay, keep your left thigh glued to the stomach. Release your hands, lift them up. Begin lowering your left foot towards the floor, bending through both of your knees, chair. And then forward fold, exhale. Inhale towards Ardha Uttanasana, and then find plank, step back and hold. Okay, we're gonna take those scapular push-ups here. Make sure your elbows stay straight, the legs are straight. If you needed a little bit of support, here you can lower your knees down. Now squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then get the shoulder blades wide on the back. Repeat, squeeze the shoulder blades. It's almost like the chest is meeting the thumbs. Exhale, wide across the back. Pull them away from the spine. One more time, squeeze the shoulder blades. Widen them on your back, and then stay as you feel your wrists pulling towards the toes and the feet trying to pull towards the wrists. Bend your elbows and lower all the way to the floor. We'll float the hands off of our mat and then inhale, unsupported Bhujangasana, hold. And with the chest lifting, connect with the feeling of the shoulder blades drawing towards the spine, activating the muscles of the back, and then see if you can lift even higher. Chest stays off the floor, place your hands down. Cobra, pull the chest forward, lift, elbows in. Down dog with your exhalation. Take another breath. Look towards your hands, and we go right foot forward. Left knee down onto the floor, and then inhale, lift both of your arms up. We'll place both of our hands down, front leg straight, flex the foot. You might slide the heel forward about 5-7 centimeters, and then breathe in. Let's everyone lift our spine. So lengthen the spine up and away from the pelvis, pause. Push down through your front heel, engage through the stomach. Engage the whole front line of the body as you begin to hinge forward. So rather than letting your whole upper body simply flop over that front leg, I want you to bring a strong engagement into the abdomen. Strong engagement through the front of your right thigh as you bring those two pieces closer together. And then look at your toes. Make sure that for the most part they're equally pulling in towards the shin bone. And then we'll inhale, lift the chest. Pull the heel in a little so you can bend into the front knee. And inhale, lift your arms, Anjaneyasana. We're going to step our left foot forward and then forward fold with our fingers interlocking behind the back, right thumb on top. Start first with a bend of the knees to feel that the lowest part of the ribs is in contact with the thighs. And to keep your chest pushing into the thighs as the buttock bones lift higher, arms reaching away from the back. Take one more breath. And rise all the way to standing. Inhale, lift your arms. At the top, bring your right thigh towards the chest, hands onto the shin, and pull the thigh into the stomach. Reach your left arm high. Keep your right thigh glued to the belly. Lift your right arm up. Kick forward through your right leg. Keep the right thigh lifting as much as you can. Feel the vibration, the trembling here. One more moment. We'll rebend the right knee. Place the foot down, chair pose. And with hands together in prayer, we'll twist to the right. So if you look down at the feet, and your feet have stayed about hip distance apart, that's fine. And that's in fact great. What I want you to focus on further is keeping the knees the same distance as the ankles, which will help strengthen more your outer thighs, outer hips. Take one more breath and twist. Come back into Utkatasana, keep hips low, lift the heart. And then fold over your legs, exhale. Look forward. High plank. Roll onto the tips of your toes so that the shoulders are above the fingernails, maybe farther. Hold, tailbone between the thighs. And then bend your elbows slowly towards Chaturanga. Pause. And then lie down. Inhale, cobra. Lift the chest, widen the collarbones. Down dog, exhale. Look to the hands, left foot next to the left thumb. And then with right knee to the floor, stretch your arms up to start Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, lower your hands down, front leg straight. Slide the left heel forward a little bit. And then breathe in, everyone. Let's pull our stomachs up. Lift the heart high. And then with engagement in the abdomen, start to hinge forward. Maybe the hands walk a little bit more towards the line of the foot, perhaps more forward. And then can you get a sense of where is your tailbone pointing? And then find a little bit more of a tilt in the pelvis so the tailbone is pointing to the back. And as the tailbone reaches back more, can you find length to the spine to bring you even closer to that front thigh? Peel your heart away from the leg. Slide the left heel in a few centimeters so that you can place the foot back, bend the knee, and then inhale, lift your arms. Remember that we'll step the right foot forward and right away fold with fingers interlaced, this time left thumb on top. Really feel the feet rooting into the floor, the buttock bones lifting high. Stretch the arms away from the back body. And then we'll rise all the way to standing, lift the arms. At the top, left thigh up towards the chest. Hands on the shin. Pull your thigh into the stomach. And right arm up. So this next part is key. Don't let your left thigh move from its current position, so you fire up the hip flexors to release the left hand and lift it high into the air. Look at your left knee. Notice the relative height that it's at, and then without letting it drop, begin kicking the left toes forward like you're straightening the leg, but perhaps stopping once you notice the knee wanting to drop. Hold. Lift your left thigh even higher. Place your left foot on the floor, chair pose. Hands to prayer, to the left. Twist. Two more breaths. Look at the floor. Untwist, arms above your head, Utkatasana. Lower your hands down, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Go ahead and jump through Chaturanga or simply step back first and then lower down. Hold wherever you are. Upward facing dog pose. Inhale. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Okay, the hips relatively level. Your back knee is straight. And see if you can lift from the front or the front of your right thigh. Now bring your knee forward towards the nose, perhaps tucking the chin and focus on the right thigh, lifting towards the stomach. Look forward and step the foot next to your right thumb. And then this time with your back leg straight, rise to high crescent lunge. Okay, we're going to spin the back heel down and find Virabhadrasana 2. Stretch the right hand forward. So feel like your right arm is reaching beyond the front edge of your mat, and see if the hand can come down outside of your foot. Bend your right knee deeper, press the outer leg into the arm, and then open your chest as the left arm is high towards the sky. Rotate the top shoulder so the palm faces front. That's an external rotation of the left shoulder. And then stretch the arm over the ear. Front leg is bending. Back heel is rooting. Create the same feeling of split in the legs. Now look down, left hand to the floor. Let's draw the back heel up so it's sitting above the toes. And then can we all flatten through our palms? Now let's look at the knee. Where is it? Okay, right next to the armpit. Do your best to keep the knee where it is, but slide your right heel towards the buttocks. So we go directly into tiger curl. Then we'll go into three-legged down dog, but keep your right knee bending. Lift the front of your thigh higher, and then externally rotate the head. You're going to stand up on the ball of your left foot. Rotate it to the left and then lightly tip your body to the left edge of your mat as you flip over towards Wild Thing. Notice your bottom shoulder, your bottom arm I should say. Can you take your body up and away from the left arm bone? Look down, right hand meeting the floor, back to three-legged down dog. Knee towards the elbow. And let's take pause in pigeon pose. Slide your left leg back. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, fold. Okay, just a brief respite here. 3 breaths. Walk your hands towards the leg, heart high. Lean a little bit onto your right hip. And then we're going to take our left leg forward. Okay? And then once your left leg is straight, we then place the right heel flat, or the whole sole of the right foot down, with the heel roughly in line in front of your right buttock bone. Now from this position, reach both of your arms forward. And feel like you could press the belly, at least the right side of your belly, against the front of your right thigh. The right side of your heart against the right thigh. And then look at your left toes, actively make them active, either curling them in or pointing them. And then start to press that right heel deep into the ground. Can you almost feel like your right heel is pulling towards the space of your buttock? And we're gonna lean slightly back, pull both of the knees in, lift the feet. Navasana. Okay, take a moment here, hold on to the backs of your legs, lift the chest. Okay, watch me very quickly. I'll show you, and then you're going to do it as soon as I'm up. We roll back, roll up, plant the feet, chair. Yeah, you might need to have used your hands. Forward fold. Okay, directly to Ardha Uttanasana. Perhaps jumping through Chaturanga, stepping back otherwise, and then into upward facing dog. Down dog. Left leg rising. So you've been noticing the subtle shifting of weight into one hand. Make sure that you're pressing equally so the elbows are straight with the thigh higher. Knee towards the nose. So not just knee to the nose, hollow out the abdomen, lift your thigh higher, look forward, and go light between the hands. High crescent lunge, inhale. Pause and squeeze the outer hips together. And then Virabhadrasana 2, open up. Can we all bend our front knee deeper? Make sure that the stance here is fairly wide, and then inhale, reach through the left hand. So notice here I'm really creating space first through the left side body, then hand comes down outside of the foot. Look at your knee, bend it even more, press it against the arm, and then the right arm high, opening through the chest. Where we'll finally turn the palm to face forward and stretch the arm over the ear. And so the feeling with the right shoulder blade would be widening or pulling away from the spine. Notice as the right arm reaches forward, the outer edge of the back foot may want to lift, so resist. Press down actively through the baby toe side of back foot, hold. And look down at the floor, place your right hand down, lift the right heel up. We're going to root firmly through the hands. And what will further aid us here is pushing the floor away so there's this rounding of our back, a hollowing of the front of our body. Keep your left leg glued to the chest, but slide your left foot back so the heel comes close to the buttock. Now keep your heel tight to the bum as you go back to three-legged downward dog. Keep your heel squeezing to the glute. Now externally rotate the left hip. Lift your right heel, the other heel high. Turn it to the right side of the mat as you slowly tip towards your wild thing. Resist the floor, push away from the hand. Look down at the mat. Left hand to the floor, three-leg dog one last time. One last time for this particular flow, that is. Knee towards the elbow. And then pigeon pose. As your right leg slides back, go ahead and forward fold. So just a little interval for you to recalibrate. Give it one full breath more. Hands towards the front leg, lift your heart. Lean to the left, where we move then our right leg forward. So right leg goes straight. We're going to bend our left leg, or it's already bent, but place the sole of the foot flat and the heel is just in front of the knee. Okay, flex your front foot. Take your right arm forward, and then take your left arm forward. Especially if you feel your body resisting and wanting to lean back, pull the stomach in and lean forward a lot. Okay, really feel this compression of the front of the belly, front of the chest, pressing into the front of your left thigh. Okay, 2 more breaths here. Exhale, push. Last breath in. Use your arms and lean forward a lot. And then slowly lean back. Pull your right heel towards the buttock. Lift both of your feet, Navasana. And then from here, we're going to exhale, lower the boat. Ardha Navasana. Your lower back pressing actively down into the floor. See if you can get the navel to pull in. And then inhale up towards Navasana. And then like we did before, roll back, roll up, plant the feet, Utkatasana. And then with your hands down onto the floor, place them shoulders distance apart, creating distance between the wrists and the toes so that you can lift the heels. Place the knees at the backs of your upper arm bones. So I like to think of the triceps like shelves here. If you're used to a Bakasana with the knees outside of the arms, then please do that. Start bending the elbows. Look at your elbows, move them so they begin stacking the wrists, and then push the floor away so the shoulder blades are wide. Squeeze all 10 finger pads, perhaps floating the feet up. If your feet are not floating, that's fine. You can just shift your weight into, you can rather lift one foot up, squeeze the heel to buttock. Lower that foot down, lift the other foot up, squeeze the heel to the buttock. If both of the feet are lifted, really point the toes. And then with the chest staying forward, Chaturanga. Complete the vinyasa. And then come back to downward dog pose. In here, we'll breathe in. Open the mouth, breathe out. You look towards your hands. We're going to go right foot forward. Turn the back heel down, so almost like a Virabhadrasana in one stance. Straighten the front leg and reach up through both of your arms. Allow your stance to be narrow enough that you can rotate the hips towards the front of your mat. If you feel any stress in the back or in your back knee, readjust the foot, the back foot that is, rotating it in or even going a bit shorter in the stance. Okay, we'll go hands to hips. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, start sticking the tailbone back and hinging forward from the hips. Okay, hold this here first. Hold when I say here, the position where your spine is long, so perhaps you're not quite parallel to the floor. And see if you can find a little bit more anterior tilt in the pelvis, that being the flesh of your glutes lifting to the sky. And we're going to release both of our hands down onto the floor. And then fold completely. And then inhale, look forward. Start bending into the front leg and lifting your left leg up towards standing splits. So you're more than welcome to keep both hands on the floor. Your right hand could go behind the ankle. Feel like you're trying to pull the foot up and off the earth, but the foot resists, of course, and it pushes back down. And then from there, you might lift your left thigh higher. Start bending the top knee, pulling it in towards your nose, look forward, and then begin to kick the left foot. Use your hands here to brace yourself. Kick the left foot forward towards a pistol squat, only this time the heel is lifted. If it's hard to lift the heel, you can come up onto the ball of your right foot. And then remember what we did when we were seated. Can you take one hand forward, or perhaps both? Or even if your hands are on the floor, bring the chest towards the thigh. Okay, we'll use our hands to brace ourselves, come back towards standing split. And then step all the way back. Lower the left knee to the floor. Anjaneyasana, inhale, lift the arms. And then with hands down onto the mat, three-legged downward dog. Right leg up and towards the sky. Look towards the hands, right foot forward. We're going to quarter turn towards our left. Skandasana with your back leg bending. If you need support, hands can come onto the floor, of course. As best as you can, root firmly through your back heel. And then start to lengthen the spine. How much are you able to lift the chest up? Okay, start to move your hands towards the front of your mat. Frame the foot. Making sure that the left hand is flat. Where your wrist is, it could be directly under the shoulder or more in front of the shoulder. But try not to have it behind. Turn to the right, Vashisthasana, side plank. If you need to modify, that right foot is on the floor. You could stack your legs, or you could come into any variation of your choosing. Whatever you're doing, keep lifting the left side of your body up. And then right hand to the floor. Inhale, plank. Take the vinyasa, or skip it. Down dog is where we'll meet. Okay, let's set up our stance from this position. Look at your right foot. Turn the heel in towards your left arch so the foot is already planted, and then the left foot steps forward. Straighten the front leg, and inhale, rise up through both of your arms. So the stance is similar to Warrior One, but you may need to narrow it so that you are more steady, number one, and then number two, that you're able to really rotate the front of both hips towards the front. Let's inhale, lift the heart, Exhale right away, or from this position, let's already begin the anterior tilt of the pelvis. So stick your tailbone back as you hinge. Going to the point where you can feel that, for the most part, the spine is not rounding. Okay, so not just yet. And you almost feel that you're in a little bit of a cobra in the chest and a little bit of cow pose in the pelvis. Keep pushing the ball of your left foot into the floor, hugging the outer left hip back. One more breath. And then hands towards the earth. If that means bending the knee a little, that's fine. And then start to fold. Inhale, look forward. We're going to start bending into the front leg. Walk your hands towards the front of your mat. And then slide your right leg in. Lift your right leg up. Standing splits. Okay, so definitely both hands can stay on the floor. If you're working with your balance, your left hand holds the back of the ankle. And then whatever you're doing, resist gravity, lift the right thigh higher. Bend your right knee in the air, and then start bringing it in towards the nose. Look forward. So feel that your right thigh is lifting up into the belly. You can use your hands on the floor for balance. You're going to slide your right heel forward towards a pistol squat. Again, the hands might be able to help you keep the front of your stomach and front of chest glued to the thigh. Some of you may be able to catch the balance. Left arm forward, right arm forward. Keep squeezing thigh to stomach. Stomach in to thigh. Last breath. Use hands if you need to. Standing splits. Step all the way back. Hands to the floor. Three-legged downward facing dog. Look to the hands, left foot forward. Then we turn ourselves to the right. Walk to the back foot, your right leg bend, Skandasana. Okay. And so one side may be different than the other, of course. Keep pressing your inner right thigh away from the midline of the body. Let's give it 2 more breaths. Feel the underside of your left thigh pressing down towards the floor. Now look towards the front. Start moving your hands to frame the foot. Take pause. Right hand is flat. Turn to the left. Come into Vashisthasana. Any variation of your side plank. Whether that's the left foot down, the left leg stacking the right leg, or perhaps your left leg is floating. Continue to lift through the whole right side of your body. And then look down as your left hand meets the floor. Set up a high plank pose. Breathe in. Your choice to exhale into vinyasa or straight to downward facing dog. Let's exhale completely. Together, breathe in. Open the mouth. And lift your heels. Look forward, bend your knees. You can step or hop through towards a seated position. And then lie down on your back. Feet are hip distance, parallel. Your shin bones are vertical. Stretch your arms over your head, palms face the sky. Begin curling your tailbone up. Feel the low back rooting, and then lifting the tailbone high, the pelvis lifting, and the spine lifting. So in this variation of bridge pose, I want you to really focus on the tailbone and the whole of the pelvis. Here you're working the posterior tilt of the pelvis. Pull the top of your hip bones into the stomach. The direction of the tailbone is between the knees, and then squeeze the glutes. So when I say squeeze, actively engage the buttocks, but keep hugging the inner thighs towards the midline of your body. And then from that engagement, lift even higher. Now start from the vertebrae at the top of your spine, so releasing first from the upper back. So we start rounding our spine as it lowers towards the floor, lower back touching down before the buttocks. And then once it does, let the knees lightly touch. Hands to the tops of your thighs. Another breath in. Mouth is closed, breathe out slow. Bring the knees the same distance as the feet. Hopefully your feet are still at hips width. Option to take the same bridge pose, another variation of bridge pose, or move into Urdhva Dhanurasana. Set your hands towards either side of the head. And although I'm not able to see you guys, one thing that happens in Urdhva Dhanurasana is that the hands end up narrower than they would be in your downward dog pose. So ideally the hands are that width, which will give you the space for you to press the heart towards the back space. When you're ready, come up onto the crown, unless you're in bridge. Walk your fingertips a little bit more towards the heels. Inhale, squeeze the elbows in. Exhale, straighten your arms. Feel into the feet. Keep the inner line or the outer line of the feet parallel, and then imagine there's a block between your thighs, squeeze in. The inhale, the hands press the floor away from you, elbows straighter. Exhale, guide your heart towards the space that you're facing at the back. 2 more breaths. Very steadily lower yourselves from your bridge or from your wheel. Walk your feet apart, knees lightly touch together. Letting your eyes shut down. And then allowing your knees to sway from left to right. Left to right. Every time I say left to right, I'm reminded of this Mabel song where she says left, right, left. Okay, enough embarrassing yourself here, Bruce. Happy baby pose, Ananda Balasana. And look at your hands. If they're holding onto the outer edges of the feet, let's go for the inner parts of the feet instead today. And then with the hands holding the inner part of the feet, this will very subtly internally rotate the shoulders, which is a little bit of a counter to the number of times we've externally rotated today. Push the backs of your shoulders down. Ground the top ridge of your buttocks. And while your hands are pulling your thighs towards the floor, allow your feet to resist and push back into the fingers. Let go of your feet. Move towards a Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle pose, soles touch knees apart. Just 2 more breaths in this supine, or in this Baddha Konasana. We're going to start closing the knees together. And let us take our right leg on top of the left. So it would be similar to a Garudasana, okay, like an eagle. Some of you might be able to hook the ankle behind the leg, okay, but not so important. We're going to lower our legs towards our left. And then we're going to stretch our right arm out to the side and look over your right shoulder. Allow your lower back to stretch, but if it feels uncomfortable for the low back, lift the left hip and take the back of your pelvis a bit more towards the right side of your yoga mat. Okay, release your legs back to center. Unravel the legs. And then switch so it's left over right. And then we're going to lower both of our legs to the right side. Your right hand, if you desire, can rest on top of the left knee. And the left arm reaches out. Look towards your left hand. Rotate the shoulders so your palm is once again facing up. And that will actually allow the left shoulder blade to draw down. And maybe helping to open more the front part of your chest. Finish your next breath. And we'll take our legs back to center. Release the left leg. And then both of your knees into the chest. Apanasana. Perhaps your hands can reach for the opposite elbows. If not, it's fine. You hold onto the forearms or the wrists. And then feel that tight compression of thighs into the stomach, something we've worked with quite a bit in today's practice. But here, in this case, just before our Shavasana, you can think of this as being symbolic of ridding yourself of any residual tension. So go ahead and squeeze that all out. Squeeze. Release your legs. Bring them straight to the floor and apart. Arms away from your body, gently turning your palms to face the sky. Exhale completely here. Shavasana. All right, my beautiful yogis, stay in your Shavasana. Just in case our class gets cut off, I do want to end this together. So if you can, please give yourself at least 2 or 3 more minutes where you are. I thank you all for joining in class today. May you have a most wonderful weekend, and that that is it. Namaste.